Good morning, children. Welcome to science class. So in science, we have completed with block 22, isn't it, children? So let's start with block 23, which is rocks and minerals. Okay, so please open your science content book and turn to page number 142. 142. Okay, so where do you find these rocks is on the earth crust. See, the earth has layers while you're going inside the earth, okay, underground the earth. The crust is the first layer of the earth. Okay, so that crust is made up of rocks. Okay, so can you see crust, mantle, outer core, inner core, all these are the layers of the earth as we go underneath the earth. So this crust, the first layer of the crust, earth, is made up of rocks. Okay, and these rocks you can see in different sizes and shapes, isn't it, children? Like small, big, sand. Sand also forms from the rocks. Okay, the slit. All these are the different sizes and shapes of the rock. And geologists who observe the properties of the rocks, they observe the properties of the rocks like color, texture, hardness, strength. All these they study about the rocks, who they are called as geologist. Okay, geologist. Okay, children, so in this our first topic is types of rocks. Okay, so there are three different types of rocks based on how the rocks are formed. Okay, how these rocks are distinguished depending how they are formed. Okay, how these rocks are formed, based on that there are three different types of rocks. In that, the first one is igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. Okay, so if you see igneous rocks, so these rocks, see, these are the some of the examples of igneous rocks. Okay, and how they are formed is, igneous means fire, things made of fire, rocks made of fire. And where do you get fire, children? It's the volcanic eruptions. You all know how the lava comes out in the volcanic eruption, isn't it? When volcano erupts, the lava comes out, isn't it? The hot magma will be coming out. Yes, and it will be flowing on the earth's surface. It is hot when it is coming out, and when it comes out and reaches the earth's surface, it becomes slowly, it cools down. That hot magma cools down, and then the rocks are formed. So those rocks are the igneous rocks. Okay, the rocks which are formed by the hot magma of volcanic eruption are the igneous rocks. Okay, so the examples of igneous rocks are granite, basalt, and pumice. Okay, children, so these are the rocks which are igneous rocks. So these rocks are formed when the hot magma cools down inside the earth's crust. Okay, children, and if you see in your content book, you can see the pictures of igneous rocks. Okay, that is granite and pumice. So this pumice is formed when lava flows out and it cools down. Okay, children, and if you see, it has pores in it and it is very light in weight. Okay, so this is about igneous rocks. Next, you have sedimentary rocks. So these rocks are formed when there is rain, snow, and when there is a wind or a running water. So when these are happening, the rocks break down into small pieces, small particles. You already learned how the formation of soil, isn't it, children? So how the soil is formed? It's because of the heat in the summer, because of the rain of the winter, and the coldness in the winter, isn't it, children? Because of all those, because of the heat of the sun, the rock expands and it starts to break, because the molecules, the particles will be moving apart. We have learned that when there is increase in the temperature, the particles move away from each other. We have learned it expands. Yes, so in that way rock also expands, and when it expands, to a larger extent, then it starts to break, and when it breaks in the rainy season, the water gets settled in that cracks, and in the winter, because of the coldness, that water becomes ice, and again in the summer the water melts and it's moved out and making some more crack. In that way the rocks break, isn't it, children? So because of this, the huge rocks break into small rocks, and if that continues still, then it becomes soil. We have learned that, isn't it? So that way of forming the rocks into small particles like sediments. Sediments means small particles, okay, small pieces of rocks or shells that we find in seas and oceans. Shells, plants, animals, they flow with the water, they flow in the water, in the rivers or the streams, and these get settled down in the rivers, lakes, seas, oceans, like under at the bottom they get settled, okay, and form layers of rocks, and they starts to form layers of the rocks in the rivers, seas and oceans. These rocks are called sedimentary rocks, okay. So the breaking of rocks or shells or plants, animals together will be forming the layers of rock in the water bodies like rivers, streams, seas, oceans. And these rocks, the rocks formed in this way or which are found under the underground of the water, below the water, at the bottom of the water bodies, those are called sedimentary rocks, okay. An example of sedimentary rocks are sandstone, limestone, chalk, coal. All these are the examples of sedimentary rocks, okay. Sandstone, the name it's telling that it is made of sand, isn't it? So it is, sandstone is made of grains of sand, okay. Limestone is made of shells. You know shells, children? So because of their shells, the limestone is formed. This will not happen in a 2 or 5 years or 10 years, children. It takes long period of time to make to form the rock, okay. Now coming to metamorphic rocks. So these rocks are formed from the igneous and sedimentary rocks, okay. When these igneous and sedimentary rocks undergo some heat and pressure under the ground, the rocks change into metamorphic rocks, okay. So examples of metamorphic rocks, can you see in your content book page number 143, children? 143, 143. So granite, after undergoing some pressure, some heat, it gets squeezed and it becomes gneiss, okay. And sandstone becomes quartzine, and limestone becomes marble, okay. So metamorphic rocks are the rocks which are formed from the igneous and sedimentary rocks. When these igneous and sedimentary rocks undergo some pressure, undergo some heat and pressure, then they form into metamorphic rocks, okay, children. So this is about our topic today, which are types of rocks, okay. In the next class we will learn about the rock cycle. How does this rock life cycle of rock, you can say, okay, the rock cycle, okay, children. So for this topic, types of rocks, I have given few keywords in your daily schedule. Please learn them, write it in your classwork, and also learn them, children, okay. And if you underline in your content book also, and if you find any other word which is difficult for you, you can include in your keywords, okay. Coming to your question answers. What do all rocks have in common? So these rocks are made of minerals, children, okay. So granite, limestone, sandstone, all these we have learned as minerals, isn't it, when we were learning about minerals? Yes. So all these rocks are nothing but minerals, okay. Next, who are geologists? Which properties do they use to classify rocks and minerals? So people who study about the rocks are called, and their property, rocks and their properties are called geologists. And what do they study? They study about the hardness, luster, color, texture to identify to which group the rock belongs to. Okay, so write these two answers in your classwork and please learn it, children. Coming to your homework, complete the volume book 3, page number 33, S1, properties of rocks, and page number 34, S2, types of rocks. You have 2 pages for this topic. Okay, properties of rock and types of rock. Okay, children. So in the next class, we will learn the next topic, children. See you in the next class. Bye.